But let me say happy Valentine's Day to our in-house psychotherapist. Jill Payne is with us on Wednesdays, member of the American Psychotherapy Association. Always a lot to talk about as we're America's only show with an in-house psychotherapist. Hi, Jill.
Good morning and happy Valentine's Day, Sam.
Happy Valentine's Day. Now, you're wearing blue. You're not wearing red. How come? All the women here are wearing red, and everybody's adorable. Got red scarves and red jackets. And what about you?
I'm not a typical woman. And my husband says I'm more like a, quote, man, dude.
You're a dude.
I have 3 brothers and a son, a husband, so I'm surrounded by men. So I think, I swing both ways, Sam. No.
Easy, Schreiner. Easy on that one, kids.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about, since it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about something that happened in the media, I think it was yesterday, with Omarosa. She made a comment, and you could even consider it slander because it was defaming character of Mike Pence.
Yeah, Amoroso used to be on the Apprentice, Amoroso Maginol, whatever his name is.
So she would be over the top anyway, because she would be more dramatic. What's happening though? It went further to The View. I don't know if you've ever watched The View. It's a woman's show.
No,
Anyway.
I don't hate America. I can't watch that show. Go ahead.
Okay, well, The View was also making fun of Pence, and the audience ended up laughing. Now, if you've ever been to one of those places, usually there's someone by the audience and they tell you laugh, but it was also people laughed because of social pressure, and it's a social phenomenon. It's sort of like the wave, I think, where they just automatically laugh. But what that is causing is when she made that comment, it implied talking to God is what a lot of people do. You go to church. What do you do when you go to church? When you go to synagogue, what do you do? You're speaking to who?
Well, it could be the president of the congregation trying to get more money out of you, but generally, yeah, it's supposed to be between you and God.
It's supposed to be, okay. And so what she was implying is that Jesus was talking back to him. That was the implication. So therefore, that the statement was causing or causing shame for the president because it was defaming his character or trying to. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I'm spiritual. I like all religions. I really do. I think that it's very important as even a therapist for couples to believe in a higher power, because especially for women to marry a man that believes in the higher power. Because when we tell a husband, it'd be really nice if you'd bring me flowers or treat me with more respect, if it comes from church or wherever they're going, a synagogue or a temple, they're more accountable. Does that make sense, Sam?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Husbands and wives who embrace God's word together,
Right.
Who worship together, who understand the value of the higher authority, of our Judeo-Christian fabric.
Right.
There's no doubt about it that relationship's going to be stronger.
Right. So when this happened to me, I myself was looking at it, and it probably is extremely offensive to most of the people. When they sit back and think about it, they're going to question themselves. They're going to say, gosh, is it bad to talk to God? Is that a bad thing? So I thought that was very interesting, and I thought I would bring that up because of Valentine's Day.
No, and here's the exact quote from Amorosa, who was on the Trump show and was also thrown out of the White House. She says, he's extreme. I guess she's talking about Pence.
Right.
I'm Christian. I love Jesus, but he thinks Jesus tells him to say things. I'm like, Jesus ain't say that. Well, first of all, get your grammar right, sweetheart. Don't say Jesus ain't say that. But whatever. Whatever. And
so she implied that Jesus is verbally answering him in his head.
Yeah, but God instructs people in many ways, and it can be through words, it can be through actions, spirits, things that happen. You're like, I think that's a message from God. I need to stop, blank. Right? So, and
so, yeah.
Whatever.
But I thought and then, Jesus, I don't know if I did the quote correctly. He who has never sinned can throw the first stone.
Absolutely.
Something like that. And that's what's happening. And so I tell people, something happened the other day. I can't remember who the woman is, but it's on Obama's side. And because of all this investigation, now the Democrats are getting found out that they've done some things. And so it's really interesting. When you throw that stone, you better be ready for the consequence that's going to happen.
Amen.
And that's in life. So you need to think twice before you
exactly
do that.
No, you're right, and it's a great line. Whoever's out, you got no sin, go ahead, throw the first stone. Dare ya. Let me get to the break.
And I don't want to be religious. I think that this is it's not a Democrat or Republican thing that I brought up today. It's mainly about respecting others, and that when you have a higher power, there's some people that don't believe in a higher power, so you may get some people calling up, and that's okay.
You know what?
I mean, that's okay. It's just like, it's okay to eat chocolate cake, but if you want to live a healthier,
you don't have. Let me tell you something. You don't have to. That's okay. When people find God the minute they go into surgery, I'm telling you something, or the minute a loved one goes into surgery, all of a sudden these people who bash God, they bash God's existence and God's strength and God. All of a sudden, let me take a break. All of a sudden they're like, you listen. I know I bashed you before, but so and so is going into surgery, or there's an accident. Please. Let me take a break. I want to continue our conversation. Jill Payne with us. Let me get back to our in-house psychotherapist, Jill Payne, and she brought up an incident that took place on The View, which is for the Fabissen. If you speak German, Fabissen is a miserable woman. So Fabissen would be like more the plural of just miserable gals all around on The View. And it says it's from Fox. The View star Joy Behar mocks Mike Pence's Christian faith and calls it a mental illness. So anybody who has a relationship with God and prays and feels that they're inspired by the Almighty, you must have a mental illness. And this is the attack, right? This is the attack on believers from ABC, right?
Wow.
But anyway, it goes back to they have an extremist hatred towards Mike Pence because he's not a rapist, sexual predator like Bill Clinton. And they don't know what to do with a guy who says, and you remember, I think it was last year, he says, Jill Payne, our in-house psychotherapist, says, look, I'm not having dinner or drinks in the evening with a woman alone, out of respect for the wife. That drove the godless alt-left crazy. And then Mark Zuckerberg's sister said, well, in that case, don't have dinner or drinks with men alone because it's not fair. You should have an even playing field. I admire a guy. You don't want any trouble. A guy that high up could be set up so fast your head could spin. From a psychotherapist point of view, going back to these attacks on a believer, on a proud Christian man, our vice president, what do you think when he says these things like, listen, I don't want to have dinner alone and drinks alone with a woman. Just is what it is.
Right. My first reaction was I was agreeing with him, and he's the type of person that, and my mom did not agree. She called me up. So that's a woman that was saying, I can't believe that. And the thing is, he thought of consequences, and that's his type of personality. Even if you watch him, Sam, he's very contained, very controlled. He's the opposite of Trump. You just watch his body language. He has a wonderful smile, yet he's very contained, and that's how he does his life. And so he thinks before he does. And so what he was thinking is just what's happening now in the world, all these, what is it, Me Too? All these sexual harassment
claims because as we saw, even a guy like, the radio guy, Ryan Seacrest, some woman claimed out, and it turned out to be not true. So he's like, hey. So yeah,
I think a lot of them are going to turn out to be not true because I told you I was sexually harassed twice, 40 years ago. I can't remember, and I can't remember what the guys look like. And I was fired from one job and let go from the other because they wanted to keep the coach and not me. So, that's how it goes.
But a guy takes a strong stand for his wife.
Right.
And God, right? I mean, two things that we should admire, and he's mimicked or mocked. Sheryl Sandberg said, don't want to have dinner alone with a female colleague? Fine, but make access equal. No dinners alone with anyone. Breakfasts or lunches are for all. All group dinners only, nothing one-on-one. Whatever you choose, treat men and women equally. But that's, yeah.
So what happens with people is a lot of times when people are in a higher power, we like to find fault with them because they may look too perfect for us. So
Yeah.
people do not like it if you're too perfect. They don't. It makes them feel bad. So we like people that have issues and we can relate better with them. And so if they're too perfect, we've got to find, well, there's got to be something wrong with them, you know. Well, I'm just telling you that's the thought process of humans, and it's sort of, I guess it would be a survival thing because you don't want to hang around someone that can overtake you.
And real quick, our in-house psychotherapist, Joel Payne, what does it say about someone who mocks the strong Judeo-Christian values of a person? Who's someone who sees a person like a Mike Pence or what have you, and he's got his values, and we absolutely respect him and embrace him in the Judeo-Christian fabric of our nation. What does it say about people who mock that, like the people on The View or something like that?
Well, when it came to Omarosa,
Yeah.
yeah, she goes to a church and everything, so it's interesting. This is what people do, okay? And it's not just her, it's what we do. We like to look at other people instead of ourselves. And so sometimes, I don't know if you've ever done it, it's called put your foot in your mouth.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
And so I believe me, she's probably, when she goes to church this Sunday, she's going to be thinking twice about what she said.
Okay.
So
All right. They're playing the music.
it says something about your morals, your character, and also we are all human and make mistakes.
Amen.
And do put our foot in our mouth.
You know, I always say, first of all, it's great chutzpah to do what they're doing, but I think it's God's world. He's perfect. The rest of us are just doing the best we can. Our good
Right.
friend Jill Payne, our in-house psychotherapist, the only show in America with an in-house psychotherapist on the same days as a special forces colonel. We got you covered, bruh. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you next Wednesday, Jill Payne.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
tonight.
Day. Joins us via
Enjoy.
Skype.